Damn. Are we good?
I don't know. Hang on. This could be a real pain in the ass.
We are broadcast is live. Wow. We did it, and I can't hear you for shit.
You can't hear me?
Now I can.
Okay. All right. Well, apparently we're live, but we might have technical difficulties on this stream tonight.
Welcome to Bored and Annoyed.
This one might get cut off. I'm assuming that's because everyone in the whole world is on their internet.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what else do you have to do?
But no, what I was asking you before it got cut off the first time, have you ever seen Enduring Love with Daniel Craig?
No.
Okay, so
I don't even know what it is.
That is the movie that we will be watching for Downright Annoyed with the movies this weekend. Okay. And I had never heard of it in my life. It's like a early 2000s Daniel Craig movie. And I was told not to watch the trailer because it can spoil it. So I don't know.
Sounds like a really good romantic comedy.
I don't think it is though. Like
I'm assuming it's not. If they're telling you to
on a book.
Watch. Okay.
That's true. How could you spoil a romantic comedy, right?
Oh God. He doesn't know how to love. And she just wants to love.
Yes, but apparently, so it's based on a book. I did notice it's based on a book, so that it has some panache of some sort. Sure. And on the book, there is a hot air balloon in the background. So that's all I know. Oh,
it's two people trapped in a hot air balloon for the rest of their life.
And Paul from our show. Paul from our show is the one who actually recommended this. So I'm assuming that's the same Paul that just commented here. I can't confirm or deny that. But Paul, if it's a porn, that would be just great. I would find that hysterical. But anyways, I am Jackson.
I'm home at the movies.
And welcome to another episode of, let me find it here, Bored and Annoyed.
Bored and Annoyed. All right, let's start the episode off right. I just want to let the people know. Got a little Marvel.
Oh, of course you do.
Chill.
Of course you do.
With my late coffee.
Well, hang on. I've got a Superman pint glass up there with a cape on it. You can probably see it real small, like right there.
I can.
Next week, I'll fill that with some of my delicious Coca-Cola Classic, which hasn't gone out of stock during the quarantine, which just surprises me.
It's crazy. It's just too bad we haven't had a good Superman movie in like 40 years.
Yeah, just rub it in. I mean, it's so true. It's so true.
It's a long time.
I know, it's crazy. Superman 2, I think, would be the last good one. Yeah.
I don't hate Returns. I don't hate it. It's fine.
Oh God, we could go into a whole.
It's got its
go down
issues.
A whole rabbit hole. Yeah, it's the things I like about it are the same things that I don't like. It's really trying to fit into that Christopher Reeve, era. Like it tried to be a sequel to that, which it hits you in the nostalgia feels a little bit. But I wasn't a big fan of Kevin Spacey, Lex Luthor. And it's a little creepy that Superman.
The baseball diamond scene, though, is maybe the most Superman thing that I've seen in this century.
With the I would say him carrying the apartment building in Justice League in Russia or whatever. That was great. That was
was so stupid.
It was great. It was classic Superman. It was like what's his name? Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Avengers guy came in and was like, "Hey, you know what, guys? Remember? Like this is
you remember Superman?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So he tried. I'm still waiting on that Joss Whedon cut, by the way. I really want the Joss Whedon cut.
Yeah, where's the Joss cut?
Yeah, hashtag release the Joss Whedon cut.
Apparently Snyder is still showing the uncut or unfinished Zack Snyder cut to people. Just like if you want to feel better about yourself and your own life, think about that.
I don't get it.
That's
I
sad.
don't get the obsession with that. I really don't.
It's like the high school jock who's like, "Hey, do you want to see my letter jacket?" Except it's like an unfinished letter jacket, and like he played one game and then he got injured.
Well, that's like when I got a class ring my senior year. I didn't play shit for sports, so I just had to have like random shit put on the class ring. You know, like what am I supposed to put on the class ring?
Yeah, I got Taurus, and then I think I had like pencils on one side. So I was like, I draw.
Yeah, no, I had Taurus, and I had I want to say I had a lion, which would make sense. Something like that. Yeah. But yeah, anyway, that's not news related, but in news, first we've got your boy, David Harbour here.
Yep.
And I want to get your opinion on this. Yeah. So he is apparently made a statement that he feels that it was due to the Guillermo del Toro fandom, the extremely loyal Guillermo fans, that it failed. So he said, I think it failed before we began shooting because I think that people didn't want us to make the movie. I actually think that's true, but they created this iconic thing we thought would be reinvented, and then fans, certainly the loud list of the internet, was like, we do not want you to touch this. And then we made the movie that I think is fun, and I think it had its problems, but it was a fun movie. And then people were just very, very against it, and that's people's right, but I learned my lesson in a lot of different ways. Now, what is your take on this statement? Do you believe that a good movie would have overcome any, loyalty to Guillermo?
I think he's sort of, I'm not blaming the Guillermo fans. I just think those fans were like, not my Hellboy, hashtag not my Hellboy, not going to this movie. And because of that didn't help the box office. Then you've got the whole, it looks too close. We already discussed this kind of.
Yeah, you could go back and get like you could go back and literally like read exactly what he's saying in our discussions before the movie came out.
Because the whole point is like, you didn't go different enough to differentiate it to entice people that maybe weren't fans of the original series. So who are you pleasing by making it look like just a shitty version of the Guillermo ones?
Right. Well, and it's like, to an extent, he's right. I mean, and I have a sneeze coming, so if there's a random mute here, that's why. Jesus. This is live. This is live.
This is why editing is a good thing.
Right. Yeah. So no, but I think that he's right to an extent. I mean, when I heard about this, I didn't want them to make this. I want Hellboy 3. You know what I mean? So that story wasn't finished. That's what I wanted. But I think that there have been examples of people kind of having that feeling in the past. I mean, even like Batman Begins, for instance, I think there was a little bit of, not that, oh, we want another Clooney movie, but there was a little bit of like, okay, we don't need this reboot yet, whatever. But then if it comes out and it's great,
we don't need another reboot
of
Batman. But people hadn't gotten reboot fatigue at that point.
Okay.
Because it was Amazing Spider-Man that really kicked people off to the reboot fatigue, I would say.
Yeah, and we've got people in the chat, by the way, here.
Oh yeah.
Paul liked Man of Steel.
It's okay.
Paul said Smallville was great. I would agree up until about like season 6, and then it fell off a cliff.
I can't do CW, sorry.
I would never rather watch Dune than anything in my entire life, I don't think. But yeah, no, I think you're right. That Batman was more of a, we don't need it this fast thing. But I think had Hellboy been great and everybody's coming out saying it was great, I don't think it matters. And hey, thank you, Downright Nerdy, for always supporting the show. Pound right back at you. But yeah, what else do we have here? I still like David Harbour. I'm just getting, I'm getting a little tired of, part of this goes on the people asking the questions, because I'm getting a little tired of like Elizabeth Banks's opinion on Charlie's Angels or David Harbour's opinion on why Hellboy failed. It's like, you're not getting a unbiased answer from people who worked hard on these things. So why are we asking them? You know what I mean? Or why do we care what they say?
I don't know. I mean, it's always kind of interesting to hear what the stars have to think about a failure. I mean, so many times we hear people, hear Robert Downey Jr. talk about how great it is to be in the Marvel universe. But it's like, how often do we get to hear people talk about utter and complete failures?
Yeah. That's true. And Solo Wookiee, everybody was waiting for Hellboy 3, that storyline, and the new one just never had a leg to stand on before it entered the theater. Yeah, I think that's probably true. I mean, I still think if it would have been good, it wouldn't have mattered. But oh yeah, by the way, people listening to the replay of this is live. So if you're wondering what the hell's going on here with us reading random comments,
just go to YouTube and watch it there.
Sneezing. Yeah, go to YouTube, subscribe, watch it there. The other thing is, not surprisingly, Wonder Woman 1984 has been pushed to August. So they will not be, I think the big movies, they're never going to release them straight to video on demand. Right. There's just not enough money in that. But yeah, that sucks. Not much to say about it, I guess, except for it's another being delayed. It's
another one.
Yeah. And then I'm really upset about Saint Maud is being pulled indefinitely due to coronavirus. That's the A24 horror movie coming out.
Yep.
And I was kind of hoping that one would go straight to video on demand, because I don't think it's going to be
A24.
Yeah.
They have low budgets, and it not that it looked bad. It just looked like it had a lower budget.
Right. Yeah. So I'm surprised about that. Although maybe they're trying to really cement themselves as, they want to be taken seriously. So like the bigger ones that they want in theaters, which I understand to an extent. I mean, I would not, there's people out there that bitch about going to the theater, and it's all true. I mean, it can be really fucking annoying. We bitch about it all the time, but I would never want to lose that experience.
Did you see Nolan's letter about that? Talking about he had a sort of like an op-ed. I don't know where it was published, or maybe he just did it on Instagram or Twitter or something. But he was talking about like the idea that we don't we need to support movie theaters when they reopen. People need to go. And then he did like a kind of romantic thing at the end about like, we thought that we were there for the spectacle and the seats and the popcorn, but we weren't. We were there for each other. And
we're there to see Tenet when it comes out. Yeah. We got to make sure Tenet makes its money.
Yep, exactly. And it was one of those things where I was like, I get why he's saying this, and I actually think he believes it, because I think Nolan is actually a true romantic when it comes to film. But yeah, I can understand why there are a lot of people who are like, fuck no, I don't go for the people. I go to avoid the people. I go at times when other people aren't there, but I'm like, but I do go for the people. I go for the communal experience. If I didn't want it, I'd wait for video on demand.
It varies. Right. So like Marvel movies, you want to be there with the crew that loves the Marvel movies, right? Exactly. I would say the same with Star Wars. I mean, we got a real sense of what people's opinion on that movie was going to be just from the way the audience acted in the theater. And that's part of the experience, right? When it's a dud, you get that experience. Now, Quiet Place 2, please come out on video on demand so I don't have to sit in a theater with a bunch of, mouth breathing, popcorn chewing, chip eating assholes, please.
I will say though, that adds to the experience insofar as what it does is every time somebody like crunches on something or makes a little bit of a noise, you're like, shut the fuck up. It heightens the tension.
Okay.
So,
it heightens the tension towards wanting to punch someone in the face, not so much toward being worried about the aliens.
But emotionally, it puts you there.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I really like to compare my struggles in the theater with Emily Blunt in the bathtub trying not to give birth. Was that what was happening?
Pregnancy.
Yes, right. But yeah, so that the only other piece of news is relating to all this is that apparently the US box office, and this is a given since all the theaters are closed, but posted a $0 week, which is crazy.
I mean, what were we expecting?
It's just crazy though.
Right.
It's just crazy. I mean, like a low end weekend for Hollywood, the domestic box office is probably, adding everything together, probably around 100 million. A little less than, like on a really bad weekend,
probably a little less.
Yeah. Something new makes 12 or 10, and then everything just kind of stacks up, whatever.
Yeah.
It could be way less. I don't know, but I can't imagine they're happy with $100 million weekend, and they just got zero. So, that's kind of it for news, unless you've got any other news.
No, I don't have anything. Right now it's going to be a really slow time for news, and I'm okay with that. I'd actually rather almost not even discuss news because it's like it's all Corona related anyways, and it's like how that's all my fucking Facebook feed. That's all that's on anything. Just fuck it.
Yeah. Well, should we talk about the Corona beer next week for the news? Talk about what's happening with their stock.
I would just love to not talk about. I would love to not even say that name for like a whole day.
Okay. Well, let's go next week then. Tune in. We're going to be reviewing Kingdom. And maybe we'll replace news with something else fun to talk about.
Okay.
But yeah, I think we're ready for our topic on the show today.
Right.
Which is going to be which movie villain do you wish had won? Again, Home is the one who's the best with coming up with topics such as this. And I will be actually, since I didn't prepare myself for the show, Alex, I will be creating a wheel that we can spin for next week's topic. So maybe we just replace the news with the rotating topic and review shit.
Yeah, I like it.
We come up with this stuff as we go. But yeah, so let's start with yours. Who's the first villain that came to mind when you came up with this topic?
So, we were talking about, who do you wish had won? And I realized somebody might be like, well, you're tweaking your question just a little bit to fit this one. But I feel like it's within bounds because I feel like you can say one, meaning their intended result is what happened.
Okay. Got it.
So that's what I'm taking.
So an example. You got an example of that?
The example would be Magneto in the first X-Men. He is my first choice. He should have won. Fuck everyone else. And I'm saying that because he should have been able to make everybody a mutant. And to me, this is the most self-explanatory thing ever, which is, okay, look, the world has enough prejudice as it is. We don't need somebody to hate somebody because they have a pair of wings. Now, everybody's got something. Boppity boop. Also, everybody has superpowers. How is that not a better world? Period.
Doesn't it even out though? And we knew there'd be questions like this. Like if everybody, it evens out, but it even becomes more stacked because one guy can move metal with his mind and one guy has like an extra toe or something. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it wouldn't be really that fair of a society to
but that's exactly how it is in mutant society anyways, and they're just fine. They have no issues. They have no issues whatsoever. Everyone gets along hunky-dory.
Okay, now I guess the other thing would be we're not mutants, so there's self-interest there. What about people like us who would be slaughtered or killed, or or are you just saying we get put somewhere off to the side?
No. His goal was to make everyone a mutant.
That's right. He had in the first movie, he had the thing that like turned people into mutants.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
now
what if that's how Rogue got her white hair?
Well, what if it backfires? Yeah, that's how could I? Well, and then there was the fish guy. What about the fish guy?
That's my point. I'm tweaking the question just a little bit because he died. The idea is that the machine doesn't work. One, I'm like, that's one test. I don't, do we just stop human testing at one guy who dies?
That's probably.
I'm sorry. That's but
hopefully we don't do that during this coronavirus.
Right. No, that was a little morbid. But
yeah, I mean that was pretty scary.
Right. But yeah, point being, it's the idea that his intended result is actually what happened.
Okay.
So he wants everybody to be mutants. Everybody became mutants. That was his end goal. He won. It's a better society. Because at least that issue in that world about mutants versus humans, that is solved. And also, boon, everybody has superpowers.
Okay.
Now, it's not fair because one guy can move metal and another guy has a really long tongue. But, that's the same
Toad.
as life.
I forgot about Toad. Darth Maul.
Yeah.
Darth Maul was in that movie.
I
mean, I'm trying to, it sucks because Magneto's the best one because
That's why I picked
he's
him.
kind of got a point.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like that's why he's such a great villain. If we want to just, roll this into good villains, is the best ones kind of have a good motivation.
Right.
You understand where they're coming from. Now, in the top right corner of your screen is Joker, which is kind of the opposite example, where it's like he's cool because you have no fucking idea what his background is or what made him the way he is. But I feel like it has to be one of those two things, right?
Right. Well, and you don't always need to know what made them, what makes them. What makes them interesting, or at least what makes Joker interesting, is the idea, the philosophy behind him. Why does he think that? And watching him go to the lengths that he does for such an extreme, like, anarchy is such an extreme political ideology. The idea that there should be nothing, there should be no one and nothing in charge ever, is insane.
Yeah, I would agree. Although, oh man, wouldn't it be great if there could be the case? So right. I'm looking through the chat here. Yeah, so this is where this would be my, and I kind of said this to start. This is kind of my thing, is like, what's the difference if that's the case? You know what I mean?
What I'm saying is there's one extra level of prejudice in this world, which is, okay, they have racism, they have xenophobia, they have homophobia, whatever. Now they don't have mutant phobia. It's one less phobia to have. Everyone's a mutant. Yeah. Just one problem wiped off your list of problems as a society. Plus, if you got wings, you don't need to buy a car. Boom. That guy's life is way better. Fly into work.
Sounds like people get screwed though. Everyone gets screwed.
Look, some kids are born with cancer. You can't stop the world from people getting the shit end of the stick.
That's true. I feel like a lot more people would get
superpower.
I feel like a lot more people would get the shit end of the stick though. A lot more. Maybe. I mean, it would be intense how many people. I feel like there would be, there would be a new version of what is it? Not Occupy Wall Street. What's the other one? Like, something though. So instead of okay, here's what I envision the problem is. Okay. So right now you have Black Lives Matter, right? Like that's one of the things. Now you've got Angels Lives Matter, Long Tongue Lives Matter.
You're assuming that everybody gets a similar power. Like there's like a subset of like certain amounts of powers.
I suppose you're right. It could just be shitty power people matter. And then everybody in that group with the shitty powers, they're all picketing while the Magneto and Professor X people are all good.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, you could be right. And by the way, look, those of you listening again,
it doesn't eliminate it. And look, this is the baseline. It doesn't eliminate prejudice, because prejudice is always going to exist. It's kind of the idea behind X-Men, period.
Sure.
But what it does is it gives everyone superpowers, and that's a cooler world. That's a more fun world.
Superpowers. That's true. It would be more fun.
If I'm in that world, I'm super pumped. The next morning I wake up and I got gills. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, but what if you, like I said, we're talking.
Well, I get an extra toe. Okay, cool. I cut it off.
Yeah, but then you have to watch everybody who like has all these badass, awesome powers, and you're stuck like with nothing.
Yeah, and then I'll just become Syndrome, and it's all fucking taken care of.
All right. Well, I guess that's the case. Now, my first one I want to talk about would be Agent Smith from the Matrix.
Okay.
Sure. Now, as far as you consider Agent Smith a character, because really he's just a program within this other thing that was created by the AI. So you could say that the AI is the villain in the Matrix, right? The overall brain of this thing. But I'm going to say Agent Smith.
Agent Smith is an agent of that brain.
Okay.
At the beginning, and then he becomes his own separate entity as a villain later on.
We're only discussing the first one because
the first one. Okay.
Only the first one.
Okay.
So
You just want a cool face. You just want a cool face to your.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And those movies suck.
He's your poster child.
Let's just leave those out. But my argument for this would be that, ignorance is bliss. I'm on the Joe Pantoliano character, or whatever his name is. I'm on his side where it's like, he basically goes back and says, look, I'll give up their location. I just want you to plug me back into the Matrix. I don't want to remember any of this bullshit. It's gross out here. It sucks. Life is hard. Just make me rich, make me famous, whatever. I don't care that the stake isn't real, that kind of stuff. What is wrong with that society that they've created? You still have free will within the confines of the program that was built, correct?
You do, but the idea is that it's a cage. You're in a cage.
Sure.
And, humanity is always going to fight against a cage. We're always going to fight against a cage. Doesn't matter what the cage is. The cage could be really nice for us and have the best bars and, food all day. But nobody wants to be in a cage at the end of the day. No one wants. If it had been, I am electing to be in this program.
Okay.
That's a different thing. But the fact that it is against people's will.
They don't know. They're just completely ignorant to it.
They're just completely ignorant to it.
Right.
But yeah, it's.
I still say, looking at the wasteland that is the world in those movies, I would basically say I'm going to be selfish. You lagged out for a second there, but I'm going to be selfish, and I'm going to say I want to just stay in. You guys go ahead and figure all this other shit out. I'm sure generations from now will be happy, but I don't believe that the robots would allow that anyway. They need the entire planet. Now, I don't remember if in the first one they even discussed how they were going to bring back the sun.
I don't either. What I do know is that there have already been scientists who have been like, humans as a battery is a really poor source of energy.
I can imagine.
You could get more energy out of doing solar power. So really,
stop it. You can't do that to the movie, though.
I'm just saying.
You just got to take it face value. But yeah,
they decided they wanted to be dicks. They're sadistic robots. They know that. They're choosing a inferior form of energy.
Okay, well, I'm still plug me in, baby.
They probably got some lobbyists who are lobbying for a big human, just like big oil for us.
How many people died, Alex, in the... Okay, no, I just said I wouldn't bring up the subsequent Matrix movies, but how many people died outside of the Matrix?
You can't ignore them, because if you're saying that the robots had a better point, you have to deal with the end game of what happens in the series, which is humanity is free-ish. Because apparently there are still people who have chosen to be in the Matrix.
I don't remember that at all. I probably need to rewatch these.
I thought that was the last conversation they had on the bench between the Oracle and the Architect or something. I don't fucking know. But
the Architect, God.
Yeah, what the fuck was that? Let me talk to you about metaphysics for 20 minutes.
Oh my God,
because that's what people want to see in a fucking blockbuster.
Have they made another besides the first Matrix? In my opinion, I've liked I liked the True movie that you didn't like, the
garbage
Tom Hanks True movie.
Yeah.
I liked that, but have they made a really good movie, a single one, since the first Matrix movie?
No, I think everything they've made since has been shit.
Okay.
What was that? What was the movie with the bees? And
I liked the movie with the bees. That was fun.
Fucking awful.
Hey, our boy Terry Gilliam was in that movie, who made 12 Monkeys. He was actually the best scene of that movie was the little DMV type scene where they're going around and dealing with all the government bullshit at the planet.
Yeah.
He was the guy at the DMV because that's his thing. He's made movies about that. But yeah, I'm surprised that movie didn't make $2 billion, if I'm being honest,
Yeah, that was garbage. Anyways.
Who do you got? Who's up next? Who do you got?
God, I'm still sitting here trying to debunk the robots, though. Because you're right. The robots made it easy for us.
Yes. They were doing us a favor.
But I mean, what if you're a dude who's born into that Matrix world and you got cancer? And that's you. Like, that's you.
That's something that's never made too much sense. I almost feel like cancer within the Matrix has to pull out of cancer being in the real person, because I don't understand why the robots would create something that would kill off one of their energy sources for seemingly no reason. Right,
exactly.
So would you rather have cancer in the Matrix or
extreme case? Okay, let's take you're a guy who works in sanitation, and your wife's cheating on you, and your child's born with cancer. That guy probably is like, cool, I'll go out to like the wasteland. Like, this fucking sucks.
Yeah, but it's everything that happens in the Matrix. I feel like you have the same odds of being fucked over in the real world too. But if you're fucked over in the real world, it's exponentially worse.
But then you find out it's fake, and then you're like, okay, well, at least I'll take my chances in the real world where I can actually make real decisions, and it's not some fucking fake video game place where this shit is being dictated to me by some robots who could make me a billionaire in a second if they wanted to.
You just kind of poked a hole in the Matrix that I hadn't really thought of. So if two people mate within the Matrix,
right,
they have a child, right?
How do you?
I would assume that the children would take on some of their characteristics. So the robots have to program the offspring to look like the parents, correct?
Well, I mean, you look like what you look like in real life, basically. But what you have to do is the robots would actually basically be having to monitor us all the time. And then they would have to take DNA from both people and create a clone baby who now is the real child and whatever.
Yeah, that's the answer.
That's what they would have to do.
So but they have to do that at the same time. Yeah, they have to monitor to find out when you had sex.
Yes.
They have to time it out so it makes sense. Yeah.
It's deja vu. Jackson, it's deja vu.
Oh yeah, deja vu.
Don't think about it. Just don't think
deja vu. But yeah, I mean, I'm ready for another one of yours.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is this is hot take.
No. Is this? I mean, is it
Voldemort was right? Voldemort was right.
Okay.
Now, a lot of people might be like, "That's Wizard Hitler." Like,
yes,
you're siding
I
with
would
Wizard
be one
Hitler.
of those people. You're siding with Wizard Hitler, right?
Okay, so let's think about the Harry Potter series for a second.
Okay.
What's his goal? His goal is to have Wizard Society rule all of life, right? That's the goal, right? Wizards are top on the food chain.
The Muggles are gone, right? Pretty much, or they're enslaved or whatever.
So my thought is, I don't think that the series ever really explains in the movies.
Okay. And you can ignore when I put up chat bubbles.
Okay.
I'm just sharing it for the people, you know.
For the peeps.
Continue.
So yeah, I'm midstream here. I gave this so much thought. He's right, because in the series, we don't know what separates Muggles from. Sorry, I have to read. There's words.
Just ignore it. Ignore it.
All right. Fuck. God damn it, Jackson. Got to share all the comments. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a live video stream, Alex. The people are speaking. I'm throwing the people.
I love the people.
But yes, go ahead.
Give me a second.
Hold on. Where were you at?
I'm mid-pitch.
Cover the goddamn
is a good guy.
Hand. Yes.
Okay.
You're saying that Wizard Hitler's great.
He's a good guy. He knows what's going on. Okay, the Muggles. What makes them Muggles in this world? Because I never heard anything in the movies. Now, all you Harry Potter heads can come out and shit talk me all you want about what's in the books, but I don't give a fuck what's in the books. Whatever is said in the movie is canon in the movie. End of discussion. You can't use supplementary content. My argument would be, okay, Thor. Thor has something called the Odin Force in the comics, where when Odin died, the Odin Force went to Thor. Thor became stronger. He's like King Thor or Rune King Thor. He's way more powerful. But look, that never happened in the movies.
He doesn't have that in the movie.
He doesn't have that in the movies. So suck a dick on saying that whatever, no, I don't care what's in the books. What's in the movies is what matters. So why are they Muggles? It's never said that like, oh, they're born without powers or they don't have the ability to do magic or they can't learn it or whatever. So I'm assuming that the reason that Wizard Society exists is because they are scared of the persecution, like, the Salem witch trials. They're scared of the persecution. So they're like, we're going to go in hiding. We're not going to share this with everybody because when people find out about it, they come at us with pitchforks and stuff. But my assumption is that Muggles are just people who don't know magic. They don't know magic. They don't know how to do it. They weren't born in a society where they were raised to learn it from birth. It's kind of why, oh, you can be a mudblood or whatever, like mixed race or whatever. Somebody who knows magic, somebody who doesn't.
Sure.
Here's the thing.
Can I pause you for a second?
Sure.
I'm under the assumption that they don't have the ability to do the powers, but you're right. I don't remember that being explicitly explained.
I don't think it was ever explained. And if it's not explained in the movie, this is the assumption that I can fairly make. I can make a logical inversion. I'm going to make up a word. It happens all the time. Anyways. I was going to say something, but I was going to say something political. I've decided not to. So that is my assumption. That's my baseline. So now with that under assumption, anybody who doesn't want to live in a world where learning magic is, it's forced upon you. Guess what? I was forced to learn math. You can be forced to learn how to make something float. That's way more fun.
So you're saying the ignorant Muggles who don't know about this, they are told about it, right? That's part of your thing. Voldemort.
He's saying it should be a wizard society and nothing else. So to me, it's convert or die, motherfucker, because imagine how many problems in the world become better. This is a little bit like my Magneto take, but imagine how many problems become better if magic is a thing. Do we need to pollute anymore? If a meteor is coming to hit the Earth, can't we just Wingardium Leviosa that shit away?
I mean, you're right, but then people aren't free. They're forced into something.
Just like I was forced to eat my vegetables as a young child.
Yeah, but these are adults. Some of these Muggles would be adults, right? I feel like if you caught them...
Look, if there was one religion that was like, look, if I teach you this shit, you're going to know how to fly. You're going to know how to make things disappear. You're going to be able to go anywhere you want on the planet in an instant. You can turn into a cat. That's the real religion.
It's like you see the actual evidence that it's factually true.
Yeah, right. Somebody comes to you and says, I'm here to convert you. And then they do those things. Sign me the fuck up. That's the real religion.
I mean, I don't have much. I can't imagine a lot of people wouldn't want to do magic. So I think that you'd end up killing some really dumb Muggles. So you might have a point. Again, this is the hold on, here we go. Hold on. Paul is a Harry Potter guy. I don't know, Paul, if you're still there watching. Is this something from Harry Potter specifically, or are you just coming up with like an idea of magic being in their blood? So if in fact you are correct in your Harry Potter version, that because they didn't explain it, there was a line of dialogue cut or something where they never said Muggles couldn't do magic, I think you might have a solid point with them.
Yeah.
I think you might have a solid point.
I think I have a very solid point.
Yeah.
Voldemort was right. Hashtag Voldemort was right. Hashtag.
Yeah. Well, I've got kind of he was right on the next one. Okay. And these are criminally underwatched movies. I think this is the best trilogy, at least since Lord of the Rings, possibly since before that because I love these movies, but in the Planet of the Apes trilogy, the latest one.
Sure. Yeah.
The first two movies, there is a villain named Koba, who is another ape who was essentially experimented on by the humans in the lab in the first movie. He's all scarred up to shit. You know, he's got a good motivation for hating humans and it being all about apes, whatever. But in the second one, basically, he wants to just take over and get rid of the humans, right? Because they're assholes, whatever. I would say I almost, now, if he wins, then we don't get a third movie and we don't get this, awesome conclusion or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you don't think about it in that regard.
No,
that's
not.
But
I'm thinking, we
don't think about them winning affecting our reality.
Well, what did he really solve, or what did Caesar really solve? And I love Caesar. I do. Sure. I just, my heart breaks for Caesar, but
nothing was ever solved.
Right.
Period.
Right. So Koba basically, had he have succeeded and just wiped out humans who end up enslaved and not able to talk to anyway, like they don't get it good. The humans don't. Like the apes end up with it better than the humans, I guess. But had he have wiped it out, like the end of the second movie still ends with humans are coming, you guys need to run because we're a bunch of assholes and we're just going to bomb the shit out of you all and kill you,
Right.
So I don't know as far as that is concerned, like the actual conflict in the movie, if Koba was very wrong. Because first off, he's got good motivation. Humans are assholes, right?
Right.
And the war isn't prevented. Like Caesar doesn't succeed at preventing the war, right?
Right. Right. So my question would be, and this is just more of a clarification. This trilogy, it is in fact supposed to be a prequel trilogy to the original series. That is supposed to be the case?
Yes, but I believe it bends some of the rules, like almost like the X-Men prequel did, First Class, where it's like some of the stuff. It is supposed to be a prequel, but it like doesn't all work.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's kind of where I'm at. Like I'm sitting here, I'm like, my first reaction was, how do we know that that's how it's going to play out? Because just because that's how it played out in the original series doesn't mean that that's how this series goes. But I guess if we're working under that assumption.
Well, hold on. Now, in the trilogy, though, humans not being able to speak and them being enslaved, I can make that assumption even just off that trilogy. Because if you remember in the third one, that was part of the plot, was that like there was some sort of virus that was making humans incapable of, speaking of viruses, we could have watched that for our virus episode, but there's some sort of simian flu or whatever it's called. I think it's the simian flu.
I completely forgot about that. Yeah.
So that ends up fucking the humans over anyways, right? And then like why didn't we just let Koba kill everyone? And I hate saying this because, again, I think Caesar is like an incredibly underrated character with a great arc, great story. I mean, if anybody hasn't watched those movies, they're fucking fantastic. All three of them I really like. But yeah,
I don't think that his argument is necessarily the greatest ever, which is like somebody's a dick, so kill their entire race because fuck them, they're all dicks. I mean, that's literally Caesar's whole point is like, look, just because they were dicks to you doesn't mean we kill them all.
Yeah, I suppose, but I would say in general, humans as a race are pretty dickish to the apes.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, James Franco aside.
Yeah, James Franco, and then the guy who's in everything and nobody knows his name in the second one.
Right.
But then we got Woody Harrelson in the third one, who's just a dick. He's the Colonel Kurtz character.
He's the big dick. Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, I'm a Koba guy. I would even say in the original Planet of the Apes, if I can kind of combine these, we had Dr. Zaius, and his deal was concealing the fact that humans evolved, or apes evolved from humans. So it was kind of a flip. So
my question would be to you, what does a society built on Koba being correct or getting his goal, which is killing all the humans, what does that society, does that create more problems? Because now they don't have a slave labor in the future. So what has that done to ape society? Has it now created a subset of apes who, are misrepresented and mistreated by their own
Yeah,
people?
the orangutans get screwed.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a good question because
You
there
know?
are multiple types of apes within the movie, so they would kind of become the new races, so to
Yeah.
speak.
I think racism develops in that society if Kova wins
Oh,
because they don't have a scapegoat of, well, the humans, do you know what the humans used to do to us?
you're probably right. And they had the intelligence to become pieces of shit. You know what I
Yes.
mean? They can
Yep.
speak. They're
Yep.
not just, they're not all animal instinct anymore.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a fair point. God damn it. Now, okay, let's go back for fun. Let's go.
Sure.
And I don't know how well you know this movie, but I'll just set it up. The original 60s Planet of the Apes. So
Sure,
you have what's his name? The gun lover. What the hell's his name from Ben-Hur? Charlton Heston.
Oh,
he goes, he's an astronaut. He ends up landing on a planet of apes. And there's the main chimpanzee who he basically he's keeping a secret. There is evidence that apes evolved from man. So essentially, man evolved from apes, then apes evolved from man. Now, he wants to conceal that fact because of the greater impact that it would have on ape society. And right now they're living pretty large. They got the mute humans that they have got, tied up or whatever. Now, taking it from the ape point of view, is he correct to withhold that information for the worry that at some point there could be some sort of an uprising now that a human has showed up who can talk?
What's his? Well, I mean, we're talking about we want them to win.
Sure. Yes.
We want them to win.
Yeah, but
I mean, I guess we could look at it from the human perspective. We could look at it from the ape perspective, or we could look at the idea of a universal morality in that one.
Okay.
Which one is the best? I'm going to try and take the universal morality, which is I think that a society built on lies always has greater vulnerability to being collapsed. And also, I mean, it collapsed anyways because it was being built on lies. So, I mean, what it was inevitable, actually, I would say. What happens?
Oh, okay. That's the take. That take makes sense because it is inevitable. Right.
If it's not Charlton Heston, it's going to be someone else because eventually I would think humanity or someone with a better sense of morals would eventually release the information. And also it's just like, science now. It's like, if you discover something, more than likely somebody else will discover it, It may take another 50 years, but somebody else will discover it. You can't undiscover something, especially if it's a logical answer.
What's funny too is I believe, and someone in the chat can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe in the original Planet of the Apes, like the evidence was like a teddy bear that was in like a cave and some bones. It's like, dude, why didn't you just destroy that shit? Dr. Zaius. That's
really easy. You just burn it.
Right. But yeah, do you have any other villains? I mean,
no, those are my two. Wizard Hitler and Space Hitler being the Emperor or Darth Vader, whichever. They don't really have any points. They don't have any legs to stand on, I would say.
No. What does he say? And we will have peace. Yeah.
No, you will die.
There he is, right up there. See?
Yeah.
Return of the Jedi version, of course.
No, he's got no points whatsoever.
But yeah, so I guess we're going into shit we watched then. I watched Bloodshot last night.
Okay.
So we might not have movies in the theater, but if you want to spend $20 like me, if you're bored enough and craving new movies as much as me, you can go online right now and you can spend $20 to purchase Bloodshot. And you can laugh.
Was this $20 well spent?
No, certainly not to the average person. It stunk. And I'm spoilers on this one.
Right.
So I texted you as I was watching it. The plot is essentially that there's this guy who he like is a soldier, and he kills like this team of people, and this other guy captures his wife and kills his wife in front of him, and then kills him. And then he wakes up from death, and Guy Pearce is like, no, you died. Like, we've brought you back to life or whatever. And then that's the movie. That's the premise, is that he's this guy, he's out for revenge for the people who killed his wife, right? Now it ends up having a twist, which is that they've continually changed his memories and replaced the person who killed his wife every time they wake him up. So they're using him and his emotions to go kill all these people that the corporate guy wants killed, right? But the problem is, like, that works fine. That's kind of a neat idea. But as I'm watching it, when he wakes up, I'm telling you, he wakes up, they tell him he was just woken up. He gets over that in like 3 seconds. He goes and he like starts working out, and he punches through a punching bag, by the way, which was probably the highlight of the movie for me. Vin Diesel is so tough.
See, I'm okay with that, because Captain America punched through a punching bag in the Avengers, and I'm okay with that.
It wasn't the same, though.
I'm sure it wasn't
the same.
I'm sure it's not.
He wakes up, he punches through the punching bag. He goes, talks to the girl character who's like, of course there's people, or there's at least one person on this team who's like against what they're doing, the morality of it, you know? And she kind of needs her arc to be that she helps him in the end, you know, which of course is what happens. But all of this stuff happens in like 7 minutes, and I'm watching the movie like, wait a minute, he's already killing the guy who killed his wife like 8 minutes into the movie. I don't give a rat's ass about this character yet. I don't care. But then the twist comes, and it's like, oh, but it didn't really matter. But still, that does not mean that you don't need me to be attached to the character before that twist comes. Like,
imagine how emotionally impactful it would be that it's all been a lie if that had happened 45-50 minutes into the movie.
Well, I was imagining this as like a Netflix series, right? Sure. Like a 10-episode first season. I don't think you reveal that this didn't actually happen to the guy until maybe the last episode. Like, I feel like that in itself is the movie. The first movie should have been ending with that reveal, but that's just terrible storytelling. Then we have all the one-liners, which is one of them is, I've got unfinished business, you know, and
one of my favorites. One of my absolute favorites.
Well, and then they play that up as a joke too, where like he says it at multiple times. It's like, oh no, we weren't just using a cliche for the purposes of that.
Hey, you remember
cliche works.
You remember when I said that I hate when people hang a lampshade on things? That's what I'm talking about.
Okay. Yeah, you're right.
Oh,
exactly.
Look at my shitty screenwriting. Oh, well, I brought it up, so I fixed it, right? No,
yes,
no, you didn't. That's not how this works.
So, of course, in this movie, we also have the nerdy sidekick character who tells all the jokes. The
beta male bitch boy.
Yeah, the Shaun of the Dead guy. I forget his name. Who's in Mission Impossible? He's that role. You know
Sean Penn.
Yeah, Sean Penn. Penn. Yes.
Oh fuck.
Hey, we've got Google right here. But yeah, that character we've got up, and let's see here. So of course you have that character as well. And he's terrible. He's terrible, by the way.
That sucks. I like him as an actor, though.
No. He's not actually in it. That actor. It's just that character. A really bad version.
Semi-excited for the movie for a second.
No, don't be. Don't be. No, it's this like it's an African-American gentleman, and all he does is like one-liner quips, and they all die on impact. I mean, it's like you don't laugh at a single fucking one of them.
Okay.
The girl in it is gorgeous. She was the bad chick in Baby Driver. She was part of the bad guy team in Baby Driver.
Yep.
So that's good. I mean, at least that was good. There is one chase scene that would be fun if you gave a shit what was happening.
Sure.
So I guess points there. But yeah, it's terrible. And like I said, it seems like a cool idea. Like I bet the comic book series is pretty fun. I would imagine.
Yeah,
it's
I don't know
basically
shit about
Punisher.
Bloodshot.
It's basically Punisher with superpowers. Is
Sounds
how I
like-
was reading it.
Basically sounds like Upgrade to me.
Yeah. Only Upgrade's good.
Yeah.
Upgrade's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's one thing I watched. Now I also did watch the This Is Us season finale last night. So it's another season in the books for This Is Us, and it was the strongest episode ever. So yeah, I'm dying to see what happens next. It was very emotional, very manipulative as it always is. Characters are mad at each other. Yeah, the show is good. God damn it.
I'm not going to watch it. I'm just not going to watch it. At this point, I'm digging my heels in and I'm saying no.
It's good, man. It's better than you. There's
no robots. There's no demons. There's no samurais. There's no explosions. No.
Yeah, I guess that
I'm a 12-year-old.
I guess that, yeah, that's true. I mean, the thing is I would say, like, who wants to watch a show about like real life? But the show takes, like, you could probably pull these situations that they're in and like the conflict they have, the things that happen to them, the tragedies, the nice things, whatever, from about 100 different families. Like, all this shit doesn't happen to one group of people. You know what I mean? So it's almost more fantasy than a lot of the actual fantasy shit that I watch.
To me, it seems like a primetime soap opera.
It's really good though.
Yeah.
Like, it is. I enjoy it. Highly enjoy it.
Okay.
But yeah, that's why I watched.
Taking your man card.
Yeah, right.
Gone. Confiscated.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Yep.
I didn't have
Did
it.
You cry?
Almost. The pilot episode has a moment that makes you like want to kill yourself because you cry so hard that show. Nothing has gotten that to that point, but yeah, what'd you watch?
So I finished You season 2. This is it's
spoilers.
Spoilers for the whole time, for the whole series. It's a fun show. I am not sure I loved the last episode. Like I said, spoilers. Love being a killer. People were like, "You're going to come around on Love." No, I didn't. I didn't at all.
She's still the same person.
She's still the same person. She's still the same actress. I hate the way she delivers lines. She's still melodramatic as fuck. Now I just know that she's insane. And I don't give a fuck. I kind of liked that Joe has. I like the setup for the next season.
That's really? You do? Okay.
I think that's interesting because I like the idea that he got everything that he wanted and it's a prison for him.
He found a way to fuck it up in his head.
Yes.
Right. She's crazy. She's crazy.
Yes. She's crazy. I'm fine.
Right.
She's crazy. No, I love it. I love that setup. I'm not in love with the whole like, and that's when I found you, neighbor, or whatever. And I'm like,
right.
Yeah, it's not that. I loved the setup. I could have just been fine with that. I didn't need the little teaser of like, he's still going to kill people. I'm like, he's still nuts.
They got to give you the sting though. You got to get the sting at the end.
I could have gotten the sting for the, season. The second that the season 3 trailer dropped, that would be my sting is what I would have done.
Okay.
But I knew the whole episode, especially once they kind of reveal that 40 figures out what happened.
Yes.
And there are some contrivances there too. Like the whole, like the doctor that gets framed, he's just done the whole like born again Christian thing. Just so like the idea of like taking Joe down, it's just 40 now because nobody believes him,
Right.
And which is just, it's convenient writing. It's not great. But yeah, I don't know.
It's still fun though.
It's
a fun show.
Fun. It's still fun. But I knew the last episode that somebody had to die. It was either 40 or it was Love. Like there was no other way around it. It was one of those two.
Do you have any concerns that this is going to get stale as hell?
Well, what they've done is what they need to do is they need to basically put him in new scenarios each season. Because now he's in a vastly different position than he was at the beginning of season 2, which is also vastly different than where he was at season 1. The only thing is like, I don't want to see one where like, and I have a feeling they'll fucking do it because like shows run out of premises, but Joe ends up in prison. And then it's a season where Joe is basically in Orange is the New Black.
I feel like him getting caught needs to be the end.
Right.
Or killed.
Or killing himself or whatever. But yeah, no, I don't want a prison episode or a prison season. Especially because you know how they'll write their way out of it. It'll be like, oh, here's some contrivance where
there's a technicality.
Yeah. It's just, no, that's garbage. It's kind of like what they did with Kingpin and Daredevil.
Yes.
Like, as much as I loved having Kingpin back, it was such a shitty way to get him out. And it was just I loved Kingpin in prison, like running the show in the prison, but
when he got out, I
just think you make a mistake long term by putting Kingpin. This is turning into a Daredevil discussion, but you make a long term mistake by putting Kingpin in prison at the end of season 1.
Yeah,
that's something you do in like season 2 or 3.
I would agree with that. Now, random comment from Paul. He does bring up the fact: what if Jaws would have won? Now we're going.
I love those guys, though.
Here.
I love those guys.
That's true. Yeah,
I don't want to see them die.
Yeah, you can't say that. But so I am excited to watch a 3rd season. It's it's a binge-worthy show.
Yeah.
Now Netflix has another one out right now that is a documentary, and it's called Tiger King.
Sure.
And it follows this guy just happened to luck into a situation where he got the documentary filmmaker got brought into the underground cub petting industry in the US. Like, apparently there's like 1,000 tigers in captivity in the United States, and there's only like 500 left out in the wild, and it follows all these characters, but the main guy is Joe Exotic. And he is a guy who, he runs a little small, like, roadside zoo. He ran for president at one point. He's quite the character.
I was going to say, sounds like a character.
Yeah. Well, that's just it. We've talked about that before. If you're making a documentary about this, especially if it's going to be like a, multiple episode documentary, you really need a character. And I think this guy really lucked into a character. And I'm going to go ahead and throw his picture up here just so people, understand what we're talking about here. But yeah, and I think that this is him photoshopped in front of a jail. But I do not think that this is him. I don't think he's been photoshopped in this picture. So that is Joe Exotic. And we can find other images of him as well. But he is a real person, Paul. We know that. But this documentary, it's batshit crazy. The guy is a gun-toting. He's a gun-toting, super gay guy. He, at one point, there's a marriage between him and like a couple of his boyfriends or whatever. It is just batshit insane. Like, you're watching it, and it is one of those where it's like, this can't be real, but it is real, and it's shocking. And there's even like a murder mystery built into it, because there's this woman who runs like Big Cat Sanctuary or something in Florida. So she's like a big animal rights person. But she's basically doing the same thing. She's keeping tigers, charging an admission, and people come see the tigers. And I hated her more than anyone else on the show. I really did hate her guts. She's terrible. It's fascinating. And it's, how they are these days. Those documentary series, it's like each one gets progressively crazier than the episode you just watched, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So highly recommend this one. You Netflix people out there, which I believe has probably covered 3/4 of the globe with an internet connection at this point. But anything else from you?
Yeah, I started, everybody's like, watch Tiger, whatever. Watch Cats documentary. I'm like, no, I'll do another anime. Thank you very much.
Of course. What do you got for us this time? And Downright Nerdy, if he's not in here, he'll be listening to the show. He's been asking for your opinion on anime. So is this a good one? Is this solid?
So this one is solid. I'm only 4 episodes in. It's actually a remake of a actually, I don't know if they made it into an anime back in the 60s, but it was a manga, I think back from the 50s or 60s, maybe even the 40s, called Dororo. Dororo.
I was going to say that again for us, uncivilized people.
Dororo.
Dororo.
Yes. It's on Amazon Prime. And it's about, so I'll just give you the rundown on basically the first episode. This is actually really fast paced, but it's got kind of like one of my more favorite sort of like wanderer comes to a town in an episode, town has a problem, wanderer fixes the problem, but also learns something about himself as he does so. But so you've got 2 characters in it. You've got like a little like 8 or 10 or 12-year-old kid who's like a real huckster, a real kind of like a street smart kind of Aladdin type kid. And then you've got this silent samurai who has leg prosthetics. He has 1 leg prosthetic, and it takes place in like feudal Japan.
Okay.
And he's got 2 arm prosthetics. And if he'll do a thing where he'll bite his forearm, take off the prosthetic by biting it off. He's got swords in his fucking arms.
These people are crazy that write these things.
Yes. He's got swords coming out of the stumps of his arms, and it's so fucking badass. And basically the idea is his father made it. So it's Japan. So like there's Buddha, and then there's also demons and, different forms of religion. But basically the father's like, Buddha has abandoned our lands. Our people are starving, blah, blah, blah. Fuck this. I'm going to make a deal with demons. And he's like, take whatever you want. Well, his son is born. His son, lightning strikes. His son is born without arms or legs and no skin and no eyes and no sense of smell, no hearing, nothing.
Sounds like a horror movie.
Yes, it's awful. And basically, one of sort of like the midwives there takes the kid and sort of like, puts him in a basket, puts him in a river. Well, story contrivances, you kind of expect him early on. He finds a guy who can do prosthetics. And that's kind of the guy who raises him. But basically, the idea is he starts going around slaying demons in this world and ghouls. And it's almost like a video game in that when he starts slaying them, he actually starts earning parts of his body back.
He levels up.
Yes. He grew a leg in the first episode. His face finally grew skin for the first time. So like because he has this mask on that he wears that just looks very humanoid, but it's very puppet-like. The animation is sick. The color palette is very dreary because it's supposed to be like hopeless. It is fucking cool, man. It is really fucking cool.
And it's streaming for free. If you have a Prime subscriction, you have it.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
correct. All right. Well,
yep. And downright nerdy, what I would say, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. You got Death Note. You've got Evangelion is okay. Vinland Saga on Prime.
That's the one I want to watch.
You've got My Hero Academia. You've got One Punch Man. And I feel like there's one other that I was watching on Hulu that I forgot about now. Demon Slayer is fucking sick. There's anime is at a better point than it's ever been as far as what I'm seeing from anime now.
So that's exciting. So you're saying Castlevania season 3?
No, Castlevania can suck a dick. I fell asleep. I hate this show. I hate this show with a fucking passion.
It's probably the most popular anime out there right now.
It's so fucking boring. It's an anime in name alone. It's an American production, basically. I don't know if they actually use a Japanese animation studio. I don't think that they do, but it's basically, look, I'm gonna use a political term. It's American appropriation of anime culture is what it is. Because it's an American production.
Okay.
It's never been intended for Japanese audiences.
It seemed a little too normal to me.
Well, I don't like it because I think the characters are awful. I think the voice acting is horrendous. It's just everybody says the same. If they have one tone, each character has one tone that they use for everything. They don't they don't get like super mad and then super happy. They're just always, especially the main character, fucking whatever.
Belmont or whatever.
Belmont. I was going to call him Geralt from fucking The Witcher.
Which I never finished, by the way. I don't know about you.
It's not worth finishing. I fuck it. But no, the audio recordings on this are fucking awful too. And it's not like the quality is bad. It's just that it sounds like people in a room recording on a microphone. They don't really change like the acoustic sounds depending on if they're further away from the camera or if they're like, it sounds like us recording a podcast. It's just very flat. It's very flat. I don't think the animation is all that impressive. No, and I think the story sucks. Okay. I think the story is boring as shit.
But other than all that, it's pretty good.
Yeah. It's great. Other than literally everything that makes it a show.
Now you brought up demons. So shit we played, I'm going to go into this week because the latest Doom game came out. And I am playing that a little bit, but the problem is it released at the same time as Animal Crossing for the Nintendo Switch, which is criminally addictive.
Okay.
It's not.
I don't think I ever would have pegged you for an Animal Crossing fan.
Dude, a buddy of mine who we play, I met playing Gears of War. Mm-hmm. He has been so stoked for Animal Crossing. So he got me and the other guy we play with. He got us hooked on Animal Crossing because we had to try it, right?
Sure.
But the problem is, it's like day one you can only build this. And then you have to get enough money to pay this guy for an upgrade. And then it's all in real time. So the days are literal days. And you have different tasks to do on each day, right? So you log on and it's like, okay, well, we just moved, Ketchup, the bird has moved to town. Why don't you go say hi? So you got to go talk to Ketchup. And then you got to make sure that you're giving the museum curator enough new specimens. And they're just fucking geniuses at Nintendo, man. So this game, Doom, I've been hyping this up forever. By the way, I've played a few levels. It's fucking incredible.
Okay.
If you're sitting at home and you've got your PS4, Alex, you have to buy Doom Eternal. It's incredible. It's the graphics are insane. The music, the soundtrack is unbelievable. The stuff they do, because now Doom has really set itself apart now by going back to the roots. It's not like Call of Duty where you get shot and you can just hide and your health will regenerate. It's Doom. So it's the only way you get health packs is by killing demons. So it forces you to engage these demons, and it is just crazy. But I haven't got much time to play it because I'm stuck on Animal Crossing and building my town. I'm fishing, I'm digging for fossils, I'm buying upgrades to my house. Doesn't that all sound fun? I mean, it's literally I'm working when I'm playing a video game.
Those kind of games are basically just like the carrot and stick game.
Yes.
It's there's not a whole lot of mechanics, but it's just kind of hey, but don't you want this thing? If you get enough of these things, you can buy this thing that helps you now get that thing.
Well, and I was thinking about what the goal is. There is no goal. There's no end game because it's just always going to be something else. And it's just fucking hilarious to me because I was fishing right before I got on. I was trying to catch, there's this fish that disappears at the end of March. If you don't catch this fish by the end of March, you have to wait till next March. So it's I have to get this fish. But then I'm thinking to myself, why? Why do I give a shit if I get this fish? How does this affect my life?
Because that's what makes the game. All the little things.
but they're brilliant. Like
Yep.
you can like, they've got QR codes, so you can take like my guy, I love the band Ghost. So my guy has a Ghost t-shirt, you know, like you can, it's wild, man. It's a wild world.
It sounds
out there.
real cute.
It is very cute, actually. It's very cute. Even though the wife came up and she watched it, she's like, this looks like the dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen. She's like, why are you playing this little kids game right now? I'm like, oh, well.
Because you're a little kid at heart.
Yeah, apparently so.
Apparently, you have a podcast discussing The Matrix like 20 years after that fucking came out.
That's true. Now, there is something else I started watching, which is Messiah. Have you seen this one on Netflix?
I've seen the ads. Yeah,
it's pretty good.
Okay.
It's trying to sneakily wedge a political agenda into it. You know what I mean?
Like most things.
Yeah, but it's not slick enough, but it is entertaining. I mean,
Sure.
It's kind of a neat idea. Basically, a guy that is as a cult leader, and it's like, is he actually the second coming of Christ or whatever? I do like how it's not, they don't wedge the character into one religion. Like he started on the Gaza Strip between Israel and you know, and now he's in the US, so it's like a Christian thing. Everybody here thinks it's a Christian, but yeah, yeah, it's all right. I like Michelle, what's her name from the Mission Impossible movies, that actress.
Oh, okay.
I always forget her name. She's Ethan Hunt's wife. I know her first name's Michelle, at least I think it is. But yeah, I would recommend it for someone who's into that stuff, I guess.
Sure.
I can't wait to start Kingdom, though. I can't wait to start Kingdom.
I started Kingdom. I watched the first episode. I think you're going to enjoy it.
Of course. I have no doubts that it's going to be great. I don't feel like they're going to fuck it up. I really don't.
I hope you remember like who everybody is, though, because they don't do anything to really remind you. They just drop you right in.
I already watched one of those like 6-minute long catch you up on Kingdom season 1 things.
Good.
Which, by the way, I don't think that would work for Dark, but we'll set that aside.
No, that'd be like a 30-minute catch you up.
Right. Yeah, an hour, a whole episode's worth of catch you up shit. But okay, so I've got my wheel here as far as what discussion we're going to start the show with next week.
Oh, okay. What are our options?
So these are the ones that you shared with me. Let me just go ahead, and I couldn't fit the whole things in, or the whole question in, I should say. But they should pop up here in just a second. They're loading in, but we've got which character in a sitcom is a serial killer?
Secretly a serial
Secretly.
killer.
Secretly.
Off camera.
Okay, we've got what was it? You said Back to the Future theories or Bordenoid theories. How did Doc and Marty meet? Could you kind of expand on that one?
Well, I mean, he's a nuclear physicist, and it's a high school kid. How the fuck did they meet? How is that even a thing?
Can you remind me how it happened in the movie?
That's the thing, is we don't know.
Right, because it's a circular thing where they met at some point and we just never... yeah, that's true. I got it. Okay, he knew of him before the movie started. Wow, I'm looking like a noob. I don't know my Back to the Future as well as I should. But yeah, how did they meet? And that would give me an excuse to watch Back to the Future again, which is always enjoyable. And then we've got what was it? Which horror villain needs a sidekick?
Yes.
Yeah, so which horror villain needs a sidekick? Which my brain went all over the place on that one. And then the last one would be, what property deserves a universe? So examples, video game companies or let's see, a cinematic universe, Magic the Gathering, card games, any property, correct?
Yes, any pre-existing IP. What deserves a cinematic universe that is built upon solo movies that then turn into a team-up series?
All right, so we're going to go ahead and spin this wheel. Any other suggestions quickly, actually, from the audience? If the two of you that are still in here have any suggestions,
of course,
now's the time. What are you hoping for here, home? By the way, which one are you?
I kind of up for. They're all my babies, so I kind of love them all. I think the one I'm least excited for is cinematic universe, because that's going to require a lot of work.
Okay. And we're going to go ahead and spin this. You guys weren't quick enough, so eat shit. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and spin this. And feel free in the comments on the YouTube video or in the live chat here. If you're listening to this late, go on to the YouTube video, leave a question. We'll add it to the wheel next week. I think this is going to be something that we might have different variations on, but anything you want us to talk about over the course of this quarantine, go ahead and let us know and we'll add it. So let's go ahead and spin this. And for those listening, there is a wheel spinning right now, and it looks like it's going to be which horror movie character.
Are you sure you didn't control this?
I did not. Hands are up. Hands are up. I do not have any control. As those of us who are on Downright Annoyed with Movies, which, by the way, home any weekend, you're welcome. We record Saturday nights at 7. So,
Sure.
you know, you might have more of a life than me, but you're more than welcome to hop onto that show. But yeah, horror sidekicks. So next week we will start off with that. And yeah, I'm excited to talk about that. I'm not going to give any ideas away. I think that you could probably take any horror movie villain, aside from Chucky, because I feel like he's already had sidekicks.
Oh, okay.
And you could probably, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you could probably do it with just about anyone. So,
and also, by the way, when we say who needed a sidekick, it's not just going to end with, oh, they needed a sidekick. That's the end. We're going to be pitching who that sidekick should be. And how they enable
who's the character. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh God. Like
it's gonna be fun.
Like Michael Myers with a sidekick. How would you even write that? Yeah.
Like he's the guy who's got like the the Segway so that Michael never has to run away when he just disappears.
See, you're ruining it. Now this character is, you know. But yes, this has been another live episode of Bored and Annoyed. Reminder, if you're listening, go listen to the show. Paul, first off, that's bullshit. In the first Halloween, maybe in those Rob Zombie ones or in the later movies, but no, Michael Myers' sidekick is not his mom. Come on. And that would be Jason anyway, probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, go to the YouTube channel, subscribe, make sure you don't miss next week. And thank you for listening. We appreciate it. I've been Jackson.
I've been home at the movies,
which is what we all are nowadays.
Home movies. Missed my time. Too early. Thanks for listening, guys. We're still live. Thanks for listening.
I want to end the broadcast, you stupid fucking thing.